Good morning. Today's a pretty good day, I'd say. I want to welcome everyone to the Gateway Academy graduation for the class of 2023. For those that do not know me, my name is Ryan Mathis. I am the director of Gateway Academy in Nashville. I want to first start off by thanking family, friends, teachers, staff, those that are watching from afar, and most importantly, you graduates. And if you will indulge me for a little bit, seniors, I just want to say a few words about today. First, I want you to look around, and I really want you to take this all in and soak it up. Because look at this as a culmination of a story that has been written for you by some and by you. And this is the culmination of that story. You are ending a chapter. And when I thought about this graduating class, two words came to mind: grace and grit. What I mean by that is all of you have faced some type of adversity, some type of barrier, challenge, whatever that may be. Maybe it's a label that was put on you or put on yourself. And through that, your grit got you to this point. But through that grit, you also found grace. Grace from others, those people in this room, those people that were on that journey with you through the story. But most importantly, what is amazing to see is the grace that you found within yourself. What I encourage you to do as you exit these doors today, no matter what post-secondary option you are using, is look at it like a blank sheet of paper, and you've got the pen. And what I encourage you to do is remember that grace and grit. You're going to have frustrations, you're going to have bumps along the road, but I encourage you to lead with kindness, inclusivity, integrity, and remember that grace and grit and pull those people along the way with you as you navigate your new adventure. So, that being said, congratulations, class of 2023. And as we get started, I want to introduce our first class speaker. For those that have walked both in the Brentwood campus and the Nashville campus, chances are you have seen this next speaker greeting you with maybe some witty humor, always some positivity, and always that kindness. Some of my favorite lines are, are you living the Gateway dream, or are you live, laugh, loving today? She is someone who has held some leadership roles at the Nashville location, such as Vice President of our Student Government Association, as well as emceeing our academic fair share, as well as our talent show. She's an incomparable human being, as well as this entire senior class. It is my honor, even though she makes fun of me from time to time, to introduce the incomparable Miss Laura Hensley.
Okay, good morning. On behalf of the 2023 graduates, I would like to start off thanking our parents. They've been with us since day one, and they've provided support in ways no one else can. I'd also like to thank other family members, friends, mentors, anyone else who has come out here today to support us. You guys may not get the recognition that you guys all deserve, but you guys have changed our lives in ways no one else can describe. So, I've been at Gateway for 3 years, splitting my time equally between both locations. So I'm going to give a quick summarization of what's going on at Gateway. So Gateway provides an experience that no other school has the ability to. We get to know all of our classmates on a personal level, and we've gained mentors who will forever leave a positive impact on our lives. My story here at Gateway will begin in 9th grade. I learned the challenges of being the only one in a classroom and having to answer all the teachers' questions, but I also got the blessing of being able to slow down on concepts that were challenging and being able to speed up when I didn't understand something. An example of this was my 9th grade biology class. I was struggling a lot, but Miss Villaroos gave me an amazing opportunity to work alongside her other students in a project which was with this skeleton at the end of her room. So we would all come in during our class time and add something relevant to our class. And so not only did this help me get a hands-on education, but it pushed me in ways that I got to see her other students, and this was very inspiring. So then I moved on to the Nashville location to further my interest in computer science. I will never forget the day when I first got there, walking in, seeing all the students gathered around. However, these group of students were all different. We had many different people. We had kids, gamers, fishers, athletes, but we all had people who enjoyed school and other kids who hated it. But we all were together in a sense of community. Gateway had the opportunity to grow my education like no other school. From being blessed the opportunity to host the Christmas party to emceeing the Share Fair, I got to grow my leadership and confidence skills. From the endless presentations given by Mr. Richter to the graduating a year early, I got pushed academically. I also had the blessing to work with some of the most amazing teachers at Nashville. I had teachers like Miss Jamie, who not only taught me about money, wisdom, but she also provided me amazing opportunities like helping out with her Penguin Project. I also had Zach, who not only enhanced my writing capabilities and forced me to memorize how to spell onomatopoeia, but he taught me all about music and people like the Beatles. Finally, we have Rainier. Some might say that I liked his class a little too much because I had him for 3 hours, but not only did he teach me how to deal with the highest levels of stress, lack of sleep, and need for energy drinks, but he also gave me the ability to grow in ways that no other teacher has provided. One major thing that he gave us, which is what you will see me and a fellow student, Anna Crawford, having around our neck, was he gave us ability to work on this research project, which we looked at triage rates and observed the difference between the days of the week. To save the long explanation, we found out that the hospital had a higher number of patients the day after a fast. So we also got to make statistical graphs for this project. And so overall, Gateway has helped me grow academically and outside of school. And to the rest of my fellow 2023 graduates, here's a quote that I think mainly inspired us, especially us at Nashville. For everybody going through tough times, believe me, been there, done that. But every day above ground's a great day. Remember that. Thank you, Pitbull.
Hello. I have the honor and opportunity to introduce the Brentwood student speaker. And I don't think I've ever met a more genuine person in my entire life. This is someone who has never met a stranger. He is warm and welcoming and has taught me more about protein shakes than I ever thought I needed to know. And he also has an incredible depth, and his understanding of poetry has been very moving to see. He joined us last year in 2022. Please let me introduce William Dobbs.
Hey guys, good morning. My name is William Dobbs. I did write a pre-write, but that was kind of just a brief idea of the things that I wanted to say. Gateway changed my life. When I was at Brentwood, I was struggling a little bit more than I expected I would be in high school. And I kind of really needed something, and right at the time that I needed it, I changed to Gateway, and it gave me exactly what I needed. You would look at a school with not many kids and kind of think you wouldn't have very much fun, but for Gateway, that's so not the case. There aren't many kids, but without the social aspect of high school in students, you look for that in your teachers, and you develop relationships, friend-like relationships with your teachers and your students and other faculty at the school. And I think that that taught me a lot about who I am and how to be myself. And I thank Gateway every day for that. Thank you again for coming out, and thank you, Gateway and teachers, for everything you did for me. Love you all.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, William. I also have the privilege today of introducing our commencement speaker, Mr. Hal Cato. Mr. Cato completed his undergraduate studies at the University of Mississippi, earning his Bachelor of Journalism. Mr. Cato is a native Tennessean who currently serves as the CEO of the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. He previously served as the CEO of Thistle Farms Incorporated, an empowering organization that helps women dealing with various traumatic and debilitating situations. And additionally, Mr. Cato established and expanded Hands On Nashville, an incredible volunteer program that has helped reshape and at times rebuild our great city. He later led and grew the Oasis Center while becoming wildly recognized as an advocate for our community's youth. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Hal Cato as Gateway Academy's 2023 commencement speaker.
Thank you so much. Gosh, I can already tell I'm in the midst of greatness just after these first two speakers, and it is such an honor to be with you guys on this milestone of a morning for so many people in this room. It's a milestone, obviously, for our 10 graduates who have triumphed, for the Gateway team of educators who clearly know how to beautifully meet each and every student exactly where they are, and for the parents and family members and friends who have lovingly supported and oftentimes made really hard choices to ensure that each graduate here had what they needed to thrive. 10 years ago, my sweet nephew was in a really dark and lonely place. My sister wisely enrolled him in this school. She couldn't afford it, but she couldn't afford not to. You nurtured his love for technology, mechanical engineering, and more importantly, you gave him his confidence back. And you put him on a trajectory where I'm so proud of him, and he thrives today, where he is a happy, confident 23-year-old who's loving his life and traveling the world as a member of a Ferrari GT3 racing team. I heard her talk about Gateway and Learning Lab for years. He was here every single week for 4 years for math tutoring, but I never understood it or appreciated it until I walked through the doors. I'll tell you, within the first 5 minutes of being there, I knew I was seeing something remarkable. I immediately got that this is a community built on belonging and strengths. I heard stories about a community of reciprocity where people looked out for one another, and that still small voice within me that has been looking for this kind of community that this world desperately needs right now knew that I had found it. You know, in a world plagued today by intolerance and othering, Gateway is an island of inclusion and acceptance that extends its arms and opens its hearts to everyone, teaches everyone, loves everyone, regardless of their background, experiences, goals, and identities. That is remarkable. And I stand before Laura, Mac, Samantha, Anna, Andy, William, Cheristina, Clay, Ryan, and Graham today, and I bow down to your courage, I bow down to your individuality, and I celebrate everything that you have accomplished. You guys have painted your own canvas and composed your own symphony, and in doing so, you have reminded me and everyone else that it is not conformity that leads to greatness, but rather the courage to make one's own path and be authentic in everything you do. So given the hard-earned lessons that each of you guys have learned over the years, I gotta be honest, reflecting on what I could possibly say and speak to you was really intimidating. But first, just a little bit more about me. Growing up, there were many, 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 many years where all I wanted to do was blend into the paint color of the walls and not be noticed. I knew I was different, and other kids knew I was different, and being different in an age before the repercussions of bullying not being accepted were pretty brutal. But that feeling of not belonging fueled a fire in me to help others who didn't belong either. And it's a fire that still burns bright today, almost 40 years from when I wore a cap and gown and sat where you guys are. After finishing college and returning to Nashville, as you heard, I started my first nonprofit organization because my job wasn't all that great. I was lonely, and I knew that what made my life feel less so is when I got out there and was able to do something for someone else. I didn't have a clue what a nonprofit organization was, and I had no idea how hard it would be to fund one. But I knew I wasn't the only one looking for something more meaningful out there. And so I started Hands On Nashville, and 32 years later, I'm so proud it's coordinated over 1 million hours of service back to the Nashville community. A few years after getting it going, I went on a personal growth retreat. And the main assignment was to write and to create a North Star statement, which is just a fancy word for a personal mission statement that would guide me in the years ahead. And I wrote to help build a beloved community where everyone has opportunities and options to live a hopeful and rewarding life. It's a piece of paper that's still pinned over my desk today. Since then, I've had the privilege to start and lead an organization that helped little kids who are in homeless shelters while their parents were living there, to grow Oasis Center and create new programs helping runaway and homeless youth, kids aging out of foster care, LGBT youth who didn't know where a community looked like who would support them. And then most recently getting to work side by side with some of the most amazing survivors of trafficking, exploitation, and abuse that you can possibly imagine as CEO of Thistle Farms. I went into each one of them thinking that I was going to be the change agent that they needed. And no surprise, they were the agents who changed me. So with all that, just as a little bit of background context, there are 3 things that I take away from that experience that I want to give away to you this morning. Number 1, and I'll make this quick because I know I am the speed bump between this moment and a really joyful celebration. First of all, I have no doubt that your backgrounds and experience have already started shaping you into the extraordinary individuals that we see today. However, I have to tell you, it would be a mistake to let your uniqueness somehow absolve you of the responsibility to speak out, speak up, stand for, and stand with. If anything, recognize it as a gift that gives you a little extra ability to create positive change. And I know just by even saying that out loud that it sounds really lofty and overwhelming, but here's what excites me about each one of you. You guys already have the experience of what happens when somebody or someone or someplace chooses to see possibilities and strengths, not problems and weaknesses. And paying that forward from now on can be one of your superpowers. Hopefully you feel it tenfold this morning, but I know from personal experience that there are going to be days and weeks and months, maybe even years, where it goes barren and you wonder what it's all about. But then what will happen is you'll meet somebody, and you'll not only meet them, you will truly see them. You'll see somebody that the world has chosen not to, and in that moment, your superpower is going to return. Which leads me to number 2, awareness of that superpower. It's only the stage. It's what you do when you get on that stage that matters. And I want to remind you and encourage you, when you're on that stage, it's the small things that are the big things. We climb mountains one step at a time. We overcome negativity one positive thought at a time. And we change lives one interaction at a time. One of Nashville's most famous civil rights leaders from the 60s taught me years ago at a workshop on social movements that if you really want to change minds, you ask questions, you don't make statements. And when I'm feeling most uninspired, which is more than you would think, or alone, or wondering what it's all about, here are the 3 questions I ask myself to pull myself out of it. Number 1, what gives me hope today? Number 2, what am I grateful for today? And number 3, who can I be generous to today? Try it sometime. I promise you, those 3 questions can change your mindset more than anything. And tie the 2 together, and it brings me into number 3. No matter where you choose to go from here, whether it's college or work or the military or whatever, and no matter what you end up doing as an adult, remember, it's not what you do that matters, it's how you are that matters. Imagine what a different world we live in today if the core question adults ask children was not, what do you want to be when you grow up? But instead was, how do you want to be when you grow up? And what the world needs now more than anything is for the answer to that question to be kind. Kindness. People notice it. Think about when you notice it, and oftentimes it's in the little things. Heck, you go to Chipotle and they give you an extra scoop of something that you weren't expecting. You know, for me, oftentimes I can be sitting in traffic and I can watch someone buy a contributor from a street vendor and spend 30 seconds talking to them, and you see that person smile. Or when I came to Gateway and Laura sat down and shared her story with me, it was amazing. You want to go back to that person, that car in front of you, or that kind soul who just opened up her heart and told you about her school, because kindness shows itself. Let kindness be your brand. I didn't know what a brand was when I was your age. I still don't understand our obsession with it. But what I recognize now is that my choices over the year became my brand. I also recognize that being kind to others, even when nobody knows what I may have done, has always brought kindness back to me. I want to close by sharing something that happened at the Seattle Special Olympics many years ago. That I just love this story. And it happened at the 100-yard dash. There were 9 contestants, all of them so-called physically or mentally disabled. And at the sound of the gun, all 9 of them took off running. But one little boy didn't get very far. He tripped and he fell and he started to cry. The other 8 kids running heard him crying, and they did something remarkable. All 8 of them slowed down, turned around, and they ran back to check on him. The little boy got up, and he and the rest of the runners linked their arms together and ran across the finish line, all at the same time. And when they did, the entire stadium lost their mind and cheered for about 10 minutes. And this happened years ago, but the story is still shared, and I still love to share it. Because deep down, we all know what matters in this life, more than winning for ourselves, is helping others win too, even if it means slowing down and changing our course every now and then. From time to time, you're going to be that little boy that stumbles. Lord knows I know I have been him. But the universe, karma, God, whatever you choose to call your higher power, steps in, and somebody was there for me, somebody was there for you, because kindness begets kindness, generosity begets generosity, and love begets love. So one more time before I sit down. Your ability to see greatness and strengths in others is your superpower. Hope, gratitude, and generosity is the fuel it needs to grow. And kindness to yourself, don't forget that part, and others is its most outward sign. Do this, and I promise you're going to lead a rewarding life, a gifted life, and most importantly, a meaningful life. And when the world attempts to label you or confine you within its limited boundaries, remember that you were born to transcend them. You've got this. We've got your back. Now go out and have somebody else's. Congratulations. Sorry, I forgot my prize.
Yeah, we give out prizes here. Thank you so much for coming and speaking with us today. We're very grateful for your work that you've done for our community and for the words that you've shared. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And now we get to move to a part of the Gateway Academy program that makes our graduation so special. Instead of just getting to watch a bunch of students walk across the stage and get a diploma, because of our small community, we get to celebrate each and every individual student. You will still get to see them get their diploma, but first we will celebrate each student. And let me explain how we're doing that for those of you who are here for the first time at a Gateway graduation. We ask each of our seniors to choose one of their teachers to say a few words about them at graduation, and our students have done that. And so over the next few minutes, if you follow along on the program, you'll see that each of our graduates will have a little short speech by their chosen teacher. And then students, we don't want to embarrass anyone or have to necessarily stand up, but just remember the people in the audience probably know 1 or 2 graduates, and it's a whole lot more fun to hear a speech when you know who they're talking about. So if you would, just when your teacher comes up, just kind of turn around a little bit, wave, and if you're really brave, stand up. And so without further ado, we will begin with our first teacher speech.
Okay, I'm Claudine Grant, and I speak for MAC. Can you hear me? That's MAC. Okay. Right, MAC, you can sit down. Just again, can you hear me? Wave if you can. Okay, that's fine. Right. I have worked with MAC for about a year in maths, and I have learned a lot. I sincerely hope he has. I know that he has learned enough math to graduate high school and to enter college. There is a story for young children called The Little Engine That Could by Watty Piper. The engine faces the tasks before him with the thought, I think I can, in his mind. From the first time I met Mac, he reminded me of this little engine, even though he was not little at all. Teaching him math, I often saw the I think I can part of the engine. Sometimes the hills he faced seemed a bit too steep, and the engine would need a pause to gather steam. Those days, we did class outside. But he never stayed idling for too long and returned to his endeavor again, always intent on getting the task done, always trying his best. And now, here he stands, graduating from high school and moving on to face the next hill. There will always be hills. I've known Mac to be gracious, very respectful and kind, humble and brave. Brave needs to be emphasized because I don't think Mac quite believes that. You're brave when you face things that are daunting to you. And you have done that in abundance. I've watched him go from being timid, as if he could not say boo to a goose, to being forthcoming and exhibiting control over his decisions and actions. This is obvious when he engages with students in our community, especially ones who are withdrawn. He has the ability to draw them out and helping them to just show their colors. In this sense, he is a very good diplomat. He watches his words, he watches the topics that he addresses, and at the same time, he has his values, he knows his values, and he sticks with them. He just doesn't force them on other people. And this is not an easy thing to do. Now, Mac has very good math insights and is well able to apply these concepts to what is called real-world problems, as if anybody has non-real-world problems. He's curious about learning, and he explores a wide variety of topics. He already knows a lot about cars, and he taught me a lot about cars, much of which I've forgotten. This year, he has delved into nutrition and health, and here his older brother has been a huge force for good. Thank you. He can have a very intelligent conversation about current events, and he has deep insights into these events and sound insight, I might add. Mac, keep this curiosity as you move forward. It is very valuable. And above all, I would like to say to you, grow in goodness and don't let anyone pull you from it. Be the best you can at that moment, and remember, each one of us is a work in progress. When contemplating your next hill, ask yourself whether you have enough steam or whether you need to gather some. If you need help, ask. That is the brave thing to do.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah Bishop, and today I'll be speaking on behalf of Miss Anna Crawford. All right. Anna Crawford, and anyone who's come through Gateway, you've probably heard stories about it, but she is someone that I would like to call a wilderness girl. Those of you who are 90s children and know what movie I'm referencing, love you. I feel seen. All right. I am being literal. However, here in us English instructors, we get a little crazy about our semantics, but she is a graduate of the Trails Wilderness Therapy Program for teens who grow into young adults that love tents, maybe, trees. Most definitely, they write epic poems like she did about Kanye West in his Kanye nest, wearing his Kanye best, experiencing existential unrest. But you learn to thrive when your socks are constantly wet and water might not necessarily be coming from a clean source. I could never do this. Full disclosure, I really hate spiders, although I respect them. I do. They do great things. But I still have nightmares about a high ropes course that they made me do in 6th grade at Bear Creek as part of a bonding activity. I would rather bond with my couch. I like my couch. It's very comfortable. My cat's on my couch. So, all of this aside, being out there in the wilderness with your thoughts, your existential Kanye West unrest, it's easy to forget the real world when you rejoin it. The multidisciplinary journey that they promise you is growth through experience. So it's a better understanding of self, it's an understanding of limitations, an understanding of communication and connection. So while all of that seems really nice, becoming a better version of yourself is a lifelong transformation curve, and it's a process. So there may have been a delayed reaction, but Anna is ahead of the curve, and chances are, if you have ever spent time in the wilds of Gateway Academy Nashville, you've seen her wonderful art. You've wondered why she was feeding mice hot dogs. A little weird. Or you've heard a few sick riffs on the ukulele up and down the hallway. Identity. It can be kind of a difficult thing to actually identify. That's probably why we call it identity. I would know. My middle name is Grace, and I'm the least graceful person in the world, which is kind of like the ultimate smiting by the universe in terms of irony. So, as I'm someone that tries to balance 4 drinks when going through a doorway, which logistically you would wonder, why would she be doing that? I approach every lesson as balancing 4 drinks going through a doorway. I'm gonna spill coffee on myself. It's just gonna happen. It's unavoidable. But sometimes you meet students like Anna that they get you. And I also would like to say, I know what's going on. I've been you. I've been young once. I love it when older people say, hey, I've been young once, but I was young. It happened. So what constitutes the foundation of a house, for example? This must be strong in order for the house to be strong, but how does this extend to a person? How does it extend to identity? So the keystones and timbers of an individual soul, they can be weathered, beaten, but in those broken places, there's something wonderfully unique, like the rings on a tree stump that you encounter during wilderness therapy, or those stubborn weeds around the sidewalk. So no 2 structures in nature will be the same, regardless of how they stand, because no 2 perspectives are ever the same. A tree is a tree, a weed is a weed, but what they have in common with others like them, it's only genus and location. So like fingerprints or leaves or whorls or really creepy spiders, there are subtle differences and little flaws that distinguish themselves. So sometimes we look for ourselves in other people, and whether this is to forge a connection or perhaps to reconcile the past, we see our failures, traumas, inconsistencies, and we have a chance to reject them. But in so doing, we are in reality rejecting ourselves as we foster these bonds that are fraught with emotional discordance. What you have experienced is unique to you, but it is not you. What you do with that experience, that is a way to convey yourself to others, because defining yourself by others is a no-sum game. Leading through character will always work out. What Anna has shown the community from those first perhaps rocky introductions to her willingness to accept leadership positions in art club, make hard decisions involving scientific observation, it's all that you can't judge a book by its cover. A person of strong character, they will always attract others and inspire them, but there's also the chance to inspire yourself. To get a general idea, I'm going to do some off-roading. Bike veering off the path. To get a general idea of my classroom environment with Anna, the two of us would, I like to call it, have meditative moments of reflection, where we would have to check in with how we were doing. I always wanted her to know that it was a team effort. It was not just one teacher telling you, this, I want you to write a paper, these are the requirements, and you better do this, because I'm all-knowing and all-seeing and omniscient, and you should be scared. Again, a woman who tries to carry 4 drinks through a doorway. I'm not intimidating, but I have a balance, and I do try to instill some kind of faith in oneself through work ethic. Anna handled this beautifully. She's someone who cares a great deal about her effect on others. She grew into an individual in our community who I believe is kind and emotionally intuitive. When she uses that power for good, you really see change. So sometimes when a person is sensitive, they perceive that as a weakness. They may need to dull that because the world hurts them when they feel everything. In seeking to be seen and understood and accepted, they lead with what they know: pain. Don't be afraid of pain. Use it, not as a crutch, but as a bridge. Make it work for you, not against you. Anna will be the first one to admit when she stumbles and the last one to get over it. But this year, out of the literal wilderness and into another one filled with deadlines, college applications, mice, scary collegiate stuff, Anna's taught herself and the rest of us that even if you don't go anywhere, you move forward. Learning to let things go is hard. If it was easy, we'd all be doing it. Happiness, it's a moment. It can be fleeting, but it's important. So create your contentment and help others to see what brings them theirs. And I know that you can do this, Anna, because I already see you doing it. The worst thing that ever happened was nothing. How boring. There's no growth there. Keep being an example to yourself, besting yourself, and learning from yourself. You have to live with you at the end of the day, and I think you will find that the more you do, the more others will want to as well. So at the turn of the century, then 19-year-old cadet Franz Xaver Kappes corresponded for a time with poet Rainer Maria Rilke. He was seeking advice about his career in the military and his potential as a writer. It may seem like oddly grandiose of me to compare my relationship with Cadet Crawford to this one very famous literary relationship, but just roll with me for a second. Context may be for kings, but in this case, I think a quote will suffice to elucidate my meaning. Don't be too quick to draw conclusions from what happens to you. Simply let it happen. Otherwise, it will be too easy for you to look with blame at your past, which naturally has a share with everything that now meets you. Have patience with everything that remains unsolved in your heart. Try to love the questions themselves like locked rooms and like books written in a foreign language. Do not now look for the answers. They cannot now be given to you because you could not live them. It is a question of experiencing everything. At present, you need to live the question. Perhaps you will gradually, without even noticing it, find yourself experiencing the answer some distant day. It is within these words by Rilke to Kappes, which I find solace and great meaning. I think in this case, you may find them a comfort as well. And as Anna would often say, I hope you can indeed party rock with that. So I'll do my best Polonius and wrap things up, minus the regicide, of course. Let me say, all graduates, everyone, be true to yourself. Listen to your instincts. Surround yourself with people who build you up, but give you an opportunity to build them up as well. And above all, use your power for good. Thank you.
Hi, y'all. Oh, let me crack this up a little. My name's Rainier Richter, and I'm here to speak for Miss Laura Marie Hensley. I always feel weird following up these eloquent English teachers as the math and science guy, so bear with me for that one. So I wanted to begin by bringing up a story that Laura told me at the beginning of this year. When Laura moved from the Brentwood location to the Nashville location, that occurred during the summer. And I used to provide a weekly riddle that I would post on a whiteboard outside of my classroom. And Laura had a lot of interest in it. However, was too intimidated by me to ask me questions about it or what the answer for the riddle was if she did attempt it. While I personally don't see the intimidation that I supposedly display. Looking back on Laura telling me the story got me thinking about a quote by a former judge, James F. Burns. James F. Burns said that too many people are thinking of security instead of opportunity. They seem to be more afraid of life than death. And I felt this quote really fit with what could be considered our first interaction, Laura. It's all too easy for people to remain secure and shelter themselves from potential adversity. Seizing opportunities requires facing fears and overcoming obstacles. Who knows how your senior year may have looked and may have differed had you sought that opportunity at the beginning of the summer, right? While small in scope, these little moments can generate large-scale changes over time. I say this with your future opportunities in mind. As James Burns said, it's all too common these days to be anxious for the moments in your everyday life that we more often forget to acknowledge the perspective that these moments mean everything in the long term. In short, don't forget to conquer your own riddles of the week in college, right? Take every advantage and every opportunity that's sent your way, right? I won't say they'll always pan out well, but as the famous hockey player Wayne Gretzky once said, you miss all the shots you don't take, right? To speak more on this year, all right, your year was full of challenges and opportunities, as you had said in your own speech. Right, from completing our research work from the Ethiopian hospital in protein expression in cancer, which, nice stoles, by the way, love them, to overcoming trepidation for presentations and the myriad of them that I gave you. All right, I hope this year with me taught you not only valuable skills to succeed in college, but also how to overcome these significant challenges, both academically and socially. I also learned and improved a lot as a teacher having you as a student, for which I am truly grateful. You have more than enough aptitude and determination to not only succeed, but to excel as a student of higher education. Never forget your academic triumphs here, even in the face of difficulties in university life. I'm very proud of the effort you've given here at Gateway, and you will certainly be remembered by many here for your care, dedication, and good-hearted nature. I want you to look back on the journey that brought you here. What moments challenged you the most? When were you asked to step outside your familiar territory in order to rise to the occasion of your potential? How have you been pushed past your fears? I want you to remember these moments because they will embolden you and affirm you and remind you that you did this. You completed this part of your journey. You answered the call, and now you can continue to do so with these new tools in mind. Congratulations on your achievement today, your coming achievements that we may not be there for, and the continuation of your journey at Lipscomb University and further into life. Thank you.
You know, it's always a little bit intimidating to talk after a bunch of other people because they usually say a lot more eloquent things than the things that you think you've written down. But hello. Welcome. My name is Miss Rendy Doran. I am humbled and absolutely honored to be standing here speaking on behalf of our graduating senior, Samantha Rittenberg. When Samantha first arrived at Gateway Academy, she was fairly quiet. I could tell she was nervous, just like anybody would be on their first day at a new, very small, very unique school. She seemed interested in English a little bit, but economics seemed to be the thing that really drew her. Over the course of the semester, we talked about Wall Street, the stock market, hero epics, mythology, the TV show Friends, my puppy when we were virtual for a few days, and family. Through getting to know Samantha, quite a few things became clear. She is inquisitive and curious, not afraid to ask questions until she understands something, no matter how many questions that may take. She is attentive and engaged, always ready and willing to learn. But one of the most wonderful things about her is she is creative. At the end of last semester, we read the Canterbury Tales. And for those who are unfamiliar, it is a collection of short poems about people on the road to Canterbury. Each of these characters is special, unique, or strange. The assignment I gave Samantha was to write a poem about someone special to her, someone who influenced who she was and who she wanted to be. For most students, I would receive answers like Stephen Hawking or Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but Samantha's first choice was her father. She wanted to write a poem about her father, the painter. She talks about his craft, the talent that he has, and his interactions with his customers, but most importantly, she talks about how he makes the world a better and brighter place. It was clear how much Samantha loves and respects her family, especially her father. Not only that, she has quite the talent for descriptive writing. Samantha is also wonderful outside the classroom. In the interactions I saw in the halls, she is always welcoming to the people around her and treated everyone with respect. Everyone that has gotten to meet Samantha has talked about how sweet and kind she is. Samantha, in the time that I have gotten to teach you, I have seen you grow and change in the best ways. And you have been a wonderful addition to the Gateway family. I know that you are excited to graduate and to go on to do great things, and I wish you the best of luck. But before you go, I wanted to give you some things I wish I had known when I was your age, and for the other graduates in the room, these are also for you as well. 1, eat your desserts first. You never know what's going to happen, so make time for fun. 2, stay diligent, thoughtful, and curious. Only those who seek the extraordinary will be rewarded. 3, go easy on yourself. You're not going to do everything perfect the first time. Life is meant to be messy, chaotic, and this is your first time being an adult, for crying out loud. 4, it is always okay to be angry, sad, frustrated, or a combination of all. But always be kind, especially to your own self. And 5, never forget to be yourself. The universe will give you everyone who needs to walk alongside you. Samantha and every graduate in the room, congratulations. And in the words of author Erin Morgenstern, be brave, be bold, never change for anyone but yourself. Any soul worth their star stuff will take the whole package as is and however it grows. Thank you.
I'm shorter than the rest of the people talking. Turn that down. So for any of my graduating seniors that had to give a presentation at all during school, this is your revenge. This is me having to give a presentation and to a bunch of people I don't know. Yes, I had to use technology. I didn't have a printer at home, so this is my way of doing it. My name is Matthew Long, and I had the privilege of teaching Andy Young this year, and he asked me to speak on his behalf. So thank you. Today, as we gather to celebrate your remarkable accomplishments and bid farewell to this chapter of your lives, I stand before you as a teacher, filled with immense pride and admiration. In particular, I want to spotlight one exceptional individual among you, graduating senior, who has only excelled academically, but also showcased remarkable entrepreneur skills and success. To Andy, I want to express my heartfelt congratulations on your achievement as both a student and an entrepreneur. You have demonstrated a level of determination, creativity, and business savviness that is truly remarkable. Your ability to identify opportunities, take calculated risks, and turn them into successful ventures sets you apart. Whether it's flipping cars or selling houses, you consistently showcase a unique blend of vision, tenacity, and resourcefulness. You've not only created financial success, but also served as an inspiration to others, showing them with hard work, passion, and strong spirit, they too can achieve greatness. If you don't know, he's very good at business. He's telling me almost every day when we come into class of like, oh, this is what car I flipped this week, or these are the houses that I'm looking at buying, or these are the plot of lands that I bought just south of Nashville. And I'm like, cool, so this is personal finance. Let me tell you about interest rates. And awesome. So, we talk a little bit about that. So what impresses me most about you is your unwavering commitment to personal growth and learning. You have sought out mentors, engaged in self-education, and embraced challenges as opportunities. You embody the true spirit of an entrepreneur, a lifelong learner who is not afraid to push boundaries, think outside the box, and adapt to a rapidly changing world. As you stand here on the precipice of a new chapter, I urge you to carry forward the mindset that has brought you this far. Embrace every challenge as an opportunity for growth, remain open to new possibilities, and always strive for excellence. Remember that success is not measured solely by financial achievements, but also by the positive impact you make on the lives of others, specifically those around you. Behind every successful graduate is a network of family, friends, mentors, and loved ones who've had the privilege of guiding, encouraging, and unwavering supporting you. Take a moment to look around at those people who are supporting you now. Everybody here is supporting you. Everyone here is to watch you walk across the stage. Everyone here wants to see you succeed. Not just you, but everybody that is wearing a lovely blue hat today. Next page, hold on. There we go. To my fellow graduating seniors, each and every one of you possess unique talents, skills, and passions. I encourage you to embrace your individuality, follow your dreams, and to use your education as a foundation to reach your goals. Today, Saturday, May 20th, 2023, marks a significant milestone in your lives. You have the education experiences that will serve you as a solid foundation as you venture forth into this crazy world. Embrace those challenges, stay true, and never stop pursuing the things that bring you joy. Congratulations, Andy, and to the rest of the graduating class of 2023. I hope that you will remember the lessons you have learned, the friendships you have made, and the experiences you've had here at Gateway Academy as you move to the next chapter of your life. Thank you.
So my name is Jennifer Schaefer, and I am the director at the Brentwood Gateway Academy. However, before that, I had the much better job of being a teacher there. And so I have the privilege and opportunity to speak for Clayton Bonnet. And I'm this is like the best part of this part. So please allow me for a minute to perhaps do something a little unorthodox and have you think of the word sure. S-U-R-E, sure. Such a little word, a word perhaps you've never considered at great length, a word that moves in and out of daily dialogue without much fanfare or respect. Do you think the idea of confidence? The tree stood sure and firm in the face of mighty winds. Or perhaps you think of a less structured definition, one that falls somewhere between yes and no. Would you like to go eat? Sure. Or perhaps still you consider its use as a delicate interrogator. Are you sure? For me, however, I will always think of Clay, one Clayton David Bonnet, who taught me so much with that tiny word. I met Clay when he was a sophomore at Gateway. I'd seen him in the hallways, but that year I had mostly middle school and elementary-aged children, and I didn't mix much with the high schoolers. However, one day, another teacher and I had lunch duty, And I got to watch this 10th grader and his classmate spend a half hour indulging and good-naturedly enduring the teasing antics of a few 5th graders. I remember being impressed with Clay's unflappable calm in the face of some truly immature level jokes, and sometimes even flying food. I was excited to get to know Clay better the following year when I was given the opportunity to be his English 3 teacher. And thus began my education on the word sure. The first day of class, I asked Clay if I pronounced his last name Bonnet or Bonnet. The answer I got was, whichever you prefer. Friends, I was unaware that was a possible answer to that question. So I was left a little unsure, and I followed it up with, so Bonnet? And that's when I got as bright and as happy as can be, sure. I was almost positive I had asked a yes or no question. And analyzing literature had taught me that myriad of meanings in language, and so my head was spinning. What did he mean by sure? I would ask, did you have a good weekend? Sure. Would you like to read the next paragraph out loud? Sure. Are you enjoying your new job at Target? Sure. Always bright, always happy, always sure. Shakespeare used over 50,000 words in his play, and here was a junior in high school who found 50,000 different ways to use the word sure. But this is what Clay taught me that has changed my life. Genuine questions. Dang it, I wasn't gonna do this. Genuine questions get genuine answers. I dropped the polite small talk questions like, did you have a good weekend? And started asking, what did you do this weekend? What's your favorite part of your new job? How can we prepare you for the future? And let me tell you, as a result of being inspired to ask Clay more meaningful and mindful questions, we had some of my favorite conversations as a teacher. It was during these conversations that I learned Clayton has a hunger for knowledge and authenticity. I don't think I've had a student who could better ask questions who, what, when, where, why, how, better than Clay. Sometimes I knew the answer, and sometimes we were looking it up and learning together, and it was fun. Clay's proclivity to answer with the word sure meant I could challenge him to step outside his comfort zone. Like when I gave Clay the assignment to craft an email he would send to a former teacher requesting a letter of recommendation. Hey, Clay, do you want to do this thing I know you absolutely probably don't want to do? His response was slightly less enthusiastic, but still, sure. He did the work, crafted and honed his email, and even sent a follow-up reminder email to his former Spanish and history teacher, which is a daunting task for a teenager. I would like to share a portion of these words from former Gateway teacher Dr. Jacob Sauer's letter of recommendation, because these words, I think, speak to the soul of Clay. He wrote, it may seem strange to phrase it this way, but Clayton has overcome numerous setbacks and heartache in his personal life. Sorry. That will always be an asset to him in his future. Not only has this taught him perseverance, but such experiences have made him more sympathetic and empathetic towards others. As an anthropology professor, I constantly tell my students that people make culture, and that to better understand why people do what they do, one must seek to understand where they are coming from. Because of Clayton's experiences, he is better equipped to commiserate with students and faculty who may be struggling in various aspects of their lives. He may be reticent to share specifics, but can nonetheless understand to some degree what others are experiencing and help create a safe space for them. This in turn will aid Clay in realizing his own incredible potential, which frankly he himself has yet to fully grasp. I have seen and experienced firsthand Dr. Sauer's powerful observations of Clay's quiet empathy, his delicate care that day to those 5th graders. And I'm delighted to say that over the last 2 years, I have been privileged to witness Clay beginning to realize some of his incredible potential. And what I know for sure is this: Clay will always defy expectations, challenge conventions, and experience the world around him in ways that we can only imagine, and probably always on the back of his motorbike. And to Clay specifically, I say, keep making them earn it, because you changed my life. And if you ever need anything, you know my answer. Sure.
So first off, I just want to say congratulations, Dobbs, both for graduating, but now that Mr. Kennedy has moved to Knoxville, I can confidently claim you are the strongest person at Gateway Academy. I don't really know what your maxes are right now, but I'm pretty sure no one else, at least in Brentwood, is anywhere close to that. I'm Mr. Gambrell, or Senor Gambrell, as some of my Spanish teachers call me. And I've had the pleasure of teaching Dobbs every single semester he's been at Gateway. I had him last spring and summer for Spanish 2, in the fall for personal finance, and this semester we just finished up U.S. government. It has been a privilege to get to know him over these many hours of one-on-one classes. In all of our classes, Dobbs has always had an open mind. He is curious, he loves to dig deeper into his subjects. He asks probing and insightful questions, revealing his intelligence and his desire to learn more. And he's not embarrassed to ask questions or too proud to admit he doesn't know something. In addition to his open mind, Dobbs also has an open heart. He's a very authentic and real person, perhaps one of the most authentic and real people I've ever met. You don't have a lot of teenagers like that. He doesn't put up these fake masks and create false images of himself, but Dobbs is 100% Dobbs. And that's what you'll get from him. During our sessions, Dobbs would prompt many discussions about his life. He loved sharing about his life and hearing my point of view. And we discussed different aspects of health and how all these different aspects intersect with one another. We discussed physical health, working out, stretching, recovery, supplements, and diets. We discussed financial health, working at pokey, cutting yards, working at marbles, and juggling all those responsibilities. We discussed academic health, studying, homework, college applications, and college selections. Can I get a hotty toddy? There we go. We discussed spiritual health, faith, religion, small group Bible studies, and poetry. And we discussed relational health, navigating relationships with friends, family, and dating. And of course, we discussed mental health. And this is one of the things with which I am most proud of you, Dobbs. Last fall, Dobbs knew that he wasn't okay. And that's a hard thing for anyone to admit, but it's especially hard for an 18-year-old guy to admit. Dobbs didn't let these societal norms or uninformed peers or those macho men influencers on TikTok try to convince him that accepting help somehow made him a weak man, that he just needed to do this all on his own. No, Dobbs knew himself and decided to get the help he needed. And after getting that help, his life improved all the better. Dobbs, you may be physically strong, but that is true strength. I want to end with a quote, as most of my peers have, my colleagues, and perhaps a charge for both Dobbs and our graduating class. And one of my favorite songs by one of my favorite artists, the song Outfit by Jason Isbell, he gives this advice to all of us. Don't let him take who you are, boy, and don't try to be who you ain't. Let us all live life with an open mind and an open heart and stay true to who we are. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anna Lastly, and I'm speaking on behalf of Caristina Ferrari. Stand up. I want to ask you guys a question. What would you do if you spent your whole life avoiding math, only to learn that you had to teach honors economics your very first semester teaching? Well, if you're like me, first, you panic. Then you spend the entire night before praying that you get an extraordinary student. And my prayers were answered. Caristina is the kind of student that all teachers pray for, not just because she's intelligent, thoughtful, diligent, and punctual. That's a great student. I said she was extraordinary. What's the difference? An extraordinary student wants to learn, not just so she can get a good grade, but because she wants to know how she can apply the lessons to her life. She came into my honors economics course curious as to how it will help her out in the world. She doesn't just want to learn, she wants to grow. When Caristina uses her intelligence, she also implies a wonderful intellectual curiosity. When she is thoughtful towards her teachers, it is because she wants exactly what we want: for our students to leave the class just a little bit better prepared for the world than when they came in. Cher, I hope I helped you in that regard, because you certainly have helped me. When she is diligent and punctual, it is because she wants to grow herself, her knowledge, her experience. Some of those honors economics classes were filled with graphs and long lectures on Keynesian theory. Others were spent reviewing the definitions of national debt and deficit financing. Others were thoughtful discussions about making responsible financial decisions while we sipped hot tea. And I loved every version of our class. When I had lunch duty, Cher and Dobbs backed me up when I presented my elaborate survival plan for the zombie apocalypse, against the haters who insisted it wasn't a good plan. It was. Cher, I am so proud of you, and I am so honored that you asked me to speak for you today. As she moves away from Gateway, Cher will spend some time studying abroad in Italy before landing at the University of South Florida. Cher, I want to encourage you to use your time abroad to learn all you can, and not just in the classroom. Immerse yourself in this new corner of the world and let it teach you all it can. Let it find those lessons to teach you. You won't be sorry. You are truly an extraordinary student and an extraordinary young lady. You left your mark at Gateway. You are loved. You are honored. And I fully intend to be working for you one day. And when I do, please don't make me teach honors economics. Congratulations, Cher. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Reddish, and I have the honor of speaking for our beloved Graham Hobbs. Oh, hello, everyone, and thank you for coming out to celebrate all of our graduates today. We are so proud of every single one of you. You have all overcome various challenges to reach this moment. I have this pleasure of speaking for one of our graduates who has shown remarkable growth. It is my privilege to share with you a small glimpse into the transformative journey of a student who has left a permanent mark both on my heart and to my approach to teaching. This student demonstrated a unique way of thinking and processing information, challenging me to abandon the confines of conventional teaching. His learning differences encouraged me to explore innovative teaching methods, to embrace flexibility, and to think outside the box. Graham Hobbs' presence with us today is evidence of his strength, his resilience, and his drive to succeed. His high school journey has been marked with stories of triumph and growth as he has learned to navigate the world as a young adult. Today, we honor his journey and celebrate the remarkable progress he has made during his time at Gateway. High school is challenging for anyone. I know we all remember that. But Graham had his own challenges he needed to face, and this was a daunting journey. Graham, you have risen above these challenges presented to you with such grace and courage, showing us all the true meaning of resilience and teaching us that every setback can be turned into an opportunity for growth. Though this was my first year teaching Graham, I know he has come so far in his journey of self-discovery and personal growth. He has not only worked hard to better understand himself, but to help others understand his journey. Graham, you have shattered stereotypes and destroyed expectations, reminding us all that potential knows no bounds. Graham's story is one of inspiration, and it will forever serve as a reminder that each of us has the power to overcome adversity and forge our own path. As you embark in the next chapter of your life at Lipscomb University, remember, you are not alone. You have a support network of family, friends, and mentors who believe in you and are standing at the ready to help. When I started this year, I knew I would be teaching Graham math, but I did not account for what he would teach me. I have learned more names of cars than I ever thought possible: Bugatti, Pagani, Porsche, McLaren, Ferrari, Maserati, and many, many more. I have learned that the best watches have many moving components. I have learned that I do not have the patience to learn origami. But Graham is more than the things he adores. He has a heart of gold. He always makes sure his teachers are okay when they are absent, and he expresses his worry when they are sick. He loves to be silly in all aspects of his life, in the classroom, playing games, and solving math problems. He never fails to bring a smile to the faces of those around him. Whether he is telling a joke or showing off something cool he found online, joy and laughter will follow. In a world that sometimes takes itself too seriously, Graham has taught us the immeasurable value of embracing spontaneity and laughter. He has reminded us that life is not just about the destination, but about the incredible moments of joy and experiences we encounter along the way. Whether it was cracking a well-timed joke or finding creative ways to make us laugh during stressful times, Graham has been a constant source of laughter and positivity in our lives. Beyond the surface level fun, Graham has also taught us a valuable lesson about authenticity. His uninhibited and genuine expressions of joy serve as a constant reminder that it is okay to be our true, unfiltered selves. He has shown us that embracing our quirks and embracing the things that bring us joy is what makes life truly meaningful. To the graduate, Graham, thank you for showing me and all the other staff and students at Gateway that life is meant to be enjoyed. You have left a permanent mark on all of our lives, and your vibrant presence will be forever a treasured part of our collective memories. Though the halls will be a bit quieter next year, may your journey ahead be filled with endless laughter, unforgettable adventures, and a sense of fun that knows no bounds. Thank you, and congratulations again to all of you.
Hello, my name is Regina Villaruz. I teach math and science in Brentwood. I had the honor of teaching a very special student the last 2 years. May I present Mr. Ryan Binding. When you first meet Ryan, what you'll notice right away is his demure, sensitive mannerism. When you start talking to him, you will sense his deep intellect and strong analytical nature in a variety of subjects, such as math, physics, history, and literature. On a more personal level, you'll learn Ryan helps his mother set up her kindergarten classroom. His favorite candies are the old-fashioned kind found at Cracker Barrel. And he has a black belt in martial arts and now works in the same studio where he trained. He helps maintain the facility and wrangles the overly excited after-school kids. They turn to him for help with their homework, to fix their toy, or if they're having a bad day. The kids have a logo. Don't worry, Ryan will take care of it. More than loving to hear these stories, I love to watch Ryan's expressions as he tells them to me. I see it in his eyes and his warm smile, just how much these kids mean to him. Ryan gave me this plant last year. This plant has not had the most optimal environment. It does not receive sunlight as I don't have a window in my office. I forget to water it, and the soil content is so low, nutrients are scarce. Yet, despite times of distress, this plant has been growing. Its leaves are succulent by conserving to retain nutrients and water. Even with low soil amounts, it remains erect and anchors its roots. And amazingly, it has even created another shoot, initiating new growth. This plant didn't merely survive suboptimal conditions, it thrived. This plant represents Ryan Vining. When faced with life's challenges, Ryan does not wither. He perseveres. Using his energy efficiently, Ryan plans and acts accordingly, always with optimism, always with moral integrity. Similar to how this plant grows a new shoot, when confronted with a stumbling block, Ryan strategizes to find an alternate path. Above all, no matter the trials, Ryan holds his head up high and remains firmly anchored. Like this plant, which creates a breath of freshness, Ryan's presence is comforting, and he adds a sense of calm vitality to the environment. His gift came with this touching sign. It says, "I am growing with gratitude." Ryan's heart is always full of gratitude. Given the symbolic strength of this plant, it's no coincidence that Ryan's last name is Vining. Ryan, may you climb your magic vine as the sky is the limit. As you climb, may there be rest stations with bins filled with candy from Cracker Barrel. May you reflect and say to yourself, "I feel proud. I've done well." For Ryan, we at Gateway know you have done exceptionally well. and we couldn't be more proud. Thank you so much for this meaningful gift. Throughout the years, I will think of you as I watch the plant grow. I will smile and imagine the infinite ways you are growing. Wherever you go, you will blossom. Keep climbing, Ryan Vining. Keep growing with gratitude. Ryan, I am so proud to watch you graduate, and I wish you the very best. Stay in touch. Our door is always open. Congratulations.
All right, we have come to the culmination of this ceremony, and we will now be presenting our diplomas to our students, as well as giving them a little graduation gift. I'm going to make this executive decision right now. Let's have all the graduates stand and move on over to the staircase, okay? I think that's gonna work best. And then, as I call your name, you can come up the stairs, okay? I think that'll work. That way everybody can see and people won't be going up and down. All right. Mac Prater Brothers. Anna Grayson Crawford. Laura Marie Hensley. Samantha Claire Rittenberg. Andy Yang. Clayton David Burnett. William Calvin Dobbs. Christina Levine Ferrari. Graham E. Hobbs. Ryan Austin Vining.
Congratulations, graduates. Before we end, we want to say thank you very much to all the parents and family members and guests for joining us in this celebrating this momentous occasion. We're thankful for the teachers and all their words, and for Mr. Cato coming today. I want to wrap up with just a brief comment. As an English teacher, one of my favorite things to teach was the hero's journey. And there's always the call to adventure for the hero. Friends, this is your call to adventure. This is the first step on the path in your journey. And we are so excited and so eager to see exactly where you're going to end up. Don't be strangers. Come back, let us know. We're very excited to hear all about what you have accomplished. So friends, congratulations, class of 2023, and we wish you luck in all that you choose to pursue. And now it is my great honor to facilitate the final ceremonial moment. Graduates, please stand. And move your tassels to the left side of your cap to signify the final crossing over from being a high school student to a high school graduate. Congratulations, and everyone have a wonderful weekend.